Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm Andrew, this is Aggie. We're here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom, and today we're going to be talking about some double leg concepts, some options to get in on the double leg, the different grips I like to play when I do the double leg, 2 different ways I like to finish my takedowns, and the options that our opponent has once you get deep in on the legs. When it comes to my takedowns, particularly off the double legs, my opponents can either go to their hands or their hip, really, and I accept either. If they go to their hands, I come up playing body locks and looking to take the back. If they go to their hip, I look to isolate the legs, pin them, and start climbing up the body looking for any one of my top pins. So we'll kind of look at all that. We'll look at a couple entries, a couple different grip variations, and some finishing sequences, okay? So when I'm in front of my opponent here and we're looking to get in on the legs for our takedowns, the first barriers to entry is the head-hands defense. Right? One of my favorite ways to play here is to go into a bunch of head snaps and little off balances with the head and misdirecting the elbows so I can get entries. If I just try to shoot in here, she can block me with her head, she can block me with her hands. So I want to start moving these things out of the way, okay? In my opinion, the best way to make initial contact is with your back arm, right? So when we're playing here, if I go front arm, she can pop my elbow up and shoot in on my legs freely because I have nothing to block her here. Right? So if she reaches with her front hand, I can go here right in on her legs because there's nothing to block. But if she reaches with the back arm and I pop that up, now this arm's in the way to down block me. So I like to reach with that back arm first and then I can start my tie-ups. So I'll play here, I'll reach with the back arm, and now that I have good contact and I can kind of stuff her here, now I'll reach with the front arm. Okay? So it's a lot harder for her to beat both these elbows. Okay? And then I reach to her elbow here. Okay? So now we're in our little tie-up, playing from here. One thing I really like to do, it's worked really well for me in my life, in my career, in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, is I like to take my hand around her head, almost like I'm rolling her head. You see that? And as I roll her head, at the same time, I'm going to cast her elbow to the inside. So I'm here in my tie-up, I roll and cast. And if she just stays low, I could probably snap her down. She knows she needs to stand up out of the position. So as I roll everything and she stands up out of the position, she gives me this entry, right? I can now beat the head-hands defense because she's bringing her head out of position, her elbow's already across the center line. It gives me really good access to the legs and hips, right? So we're in this wrestling position. I'll club with the back hand, reach forward with my front hand, go to the elbow. And now I start to roll here. And now look, I can get really low and start my penetration. A lot of times when I get low, I take a little step forward and I penetrate in to my knees, okay? I want my lead knee to break the plane of glass that's between her legs. That's going to really help me get penetration, which is important, and start to put her on her heels. Okay? As her toes come off the mat, she's really off balance, and it makes the rest of the motion quite easy for me. Okay? Now once I get here, I can start getting to work. Another really good option I like to play to enter the legs is to just harass the front elbow. Like I said before, if I can get the front elbow out of position, I'm free to the legs. Right? So as we're wrestling, sometimes I'll just hit little drags. Look at this entry, right? So open. Sometimes I do as simple as just grabbing the elbow and moving it to the side. And there's a little entry there. And then what's cool is here, as she pulls out of it, off of that, there's reactions as well, right? So just misdirecting that front elbow gives me a lot of good options, okay? So one thing I'll do, I'll grab the wrist, same side, bring it towards the middle, hit a little arm drag, and as she's pulling away from this arm drag, pulling up out of it, she's bringing me right into the legs. All right, so those are 2 simple ways and they actually work really effectively at higher levels. You'll see a lot of high-level guys, boom, hit arm drags and shoot in on double legs, snap the head, shoot in on double legs. You'll see this happen at very high levels in jiu-jitsu and even wrestling at the world levels, all because they're misdirecting elbows and getting people up out of their posture, right? So now let's talk about the hand connections I can make, the different types of grips I like to do, right? So when we're here, after I've beaten the head-hand defense, right, whatever option I play, when I shoot in and I penetrate through, I have 2 main options I like to play with my grips, okay? One good option that I like a lot is wrist deep, right behind the knees. Okay? I'm going wrist deep, wrapping the hands through, right behind the knees. I'm up tall, my hips are underneath me, my posture's good. If she tried to sprawl right now, back, I can hold her whole body weight up, okay? When I'm wrestling with pretty much anybody, even bigger than me, as long as I get deep enough with my penetration and I get these grips around the knees, wrist deep, and they try to sprawl, I can hold their whole body weight up. And that's gonna allow me to drive her down and get my finishes, okay? So when I do those misdirections, playing here, I need to make sure that I'm penetrating deep. My hips are underneath me. My head is up, okay? Back is straight. I'm looking up, right? You look down, they wrap their arm around your neck, you're getting choked, okay? You look down, they push on the back of your head, you're getting sprawled on, okay? I need to be looking up, push on the back of my head. She can't. Wrap your arm around my neck, it's not there. Okay, it's not there, right? So I'm up tall, here. Another grip I really like when I shoot in, no matter what shot I'm doing, as I shoot in, another one I really like is I kind of snap them forward a little bit and I lock my hands right below their butt, okay? Right where the butt and hamstring meets, there's that little crease. That's where I want to lock my hands, okay? Now here she tries to sprawl. I'm going to be able to hold her up all day, right? It's too easy, okay? This is a great grip, all right? So I'm either going wrist deep around the knees or I'm locking my hands right below the butt, right where the hamstring and butt meets, okay? Really, really good lock here. Make sense? Now, as far as our finishes go, okay? When it comes to the finishes, generally I like to play two different options, okay? I either cut the corner, okay, or I stand up and do a knee block, all right? Both are very effective, right? I play both depending on the situation, and both work from either grip, all right? So, as I shoot in, okay, whether I'm playing the arm drag to the shot or whether I'm playing that head misdirection and shooting here, okay, I need to make sure my hips are under me, back straight, eyes up, head up, tall, good posture, and I'm going to step my outside leg up here. Look, that gives me driving force. When you go to finish double legs, don't push through them. Cut across their hips laterally, okay? The first option is cutting the corner. So all I'm going to do is effectively a 180. Right? Pushing off this leg. So I'm turning her knee inside, picking up the outside knee, and turning a 180 here. And setting her down. If she goes to her hip, I'm going to look to put my shoulder on her belly, wrap up her legs, and pin her here. And now I can start climbing up the body. This is really good for MMA, but also very good for controlling wrestling scenarios. If you can't go all the way over, just wrap up the near leg and keep this Turk. Now it'll be very hard for her to build height and start escaping the position, okay? Another way I like to finish is as I shoot in, right, whatever my scenario for my entry, as soon as I make contact, I stand up. And now again, I'm gonna be moving laterally. My knee is gonna block her knee. And look, I'm driving her over my knee and taking her to the mat, right? So however the finish is, whether she goes to her hip or hands, these are the two ways I like to finish my doubles. I'm either going to shoot in and cut that corner here, or I'm going to shoot in, stand up, block the knee with my knee, and drive her over my knee like a shelf, okay? Now, lastly, the two ways that she can fall, okay? She can either go to the hip, boom, at which case I'm going to control her, step over the legs, start to pin her, or she can opt to belly out, which most wrestlers will do, or really high-level jiu-jitsu players who know how to escape back control. As I shoot in and start driving, she might go to her hand and keeps her hands and feet on the ground like a 4-point. Here, I'm going to come up and go to body locks. Okay? As I go into body locks, I like to block their hip and I can rotate them down to the mat. Okay? And now you got a good pin here. Okay? As they go to build back up, it opens up options for back attacks and things of that nature, okay? So, quick recap. We can come in, make contact with our back arm, front arm, roll the head, penetrate deep, two hands wrist deep, or lock the hands right below the butt. We can hit cutting the corner, or we can hit arm drags into our double legs, lock our hands, step up, and do a knee block, and use that knee shelf. If they go down to their hips, we look to wrap the legs up, pin the hips. Here, I'm going to wrap those legs, pinning the hips. If she goes to all fours, here, as I shoot in, she goes to all fours, I'm gonna go to my body lock. I'm gonna block her leg here, and I'm gonna run her down. So, as far as double legs go, as far as takedowns go, those are some options I really like to play off the double leg. 2 simple entries to beat the head hands defense, 2 simple grips, and then 2 options for the finishing sequence based on what my opponent does. Really good options, things I've been doing since I was a kid that worked at all levels. All right? Try it out, let me know how it goes. I'm Andrew, that's Aggie, here at Nexus Jiu-Jitsu in Folsom. Like, subscribe, throw a comment down in the comment section, and yeah, we'll see you in the next one.